in federal law. Joining us now to discuss this is the chair of the House Intelligence Committee, Republican Mike Rogers of Michigan. Congressman, thank you very much for joining us. These CIA allegations are very important. A couple of other developing stories as well that I want to get your take on because of your position in Congress and leadership. Let's deal with the flight. Nobody knows where this plane is. I want two angles of perspective from you. Most importantly, what Donald Rumsfeld would call a known unknown, which is how are these stolen passports being used so effectively on flights, given all the new security we're supposed to have? Your take on it?
Well, I mean, this has been a problem for several years in the sense that not every country is linked or using computers to link up to find the numbers that match stolen passports. It's been an issue. Obviously, this has highlighted that issue in a way that's troubling, and it's a huge gap. Now, most of those cases are used for human trafficking or drugs or other issues, criminal issues. The one concern you obviously have is that if criminals can get access to these passports and use them effectively, so can terrorists.
And you rightly point out that the two men suspected of using fake passports or stolen passports here have not been connected to terrorism. However, is this a wake-up call that you need to do better with that part of security systems?
Well, absolutely, and this needs to be a worldwide effort when it comes to making these countries get up to these standards so that you can, again, use these computer checks. It's really not a complicated thing to do, but you have to be integrated, and that's been a challenge.
Congressman, let's turn to the CIA allegations from the senator right now. I know that it's early. I know that you can't say whether or not these allegations are provable or demonstrable yet, but just the nature of someone as senior as Senator Feinstein making an allegation this serious, what would happen if it is true? How far could this go?
Well, you know, gosh, I hate to speculate. You know, there's a little bit of back and forth. It's troubling to see this, but I do have just immense respect for Senator Feinstein. So if she's going down to the floor, you know, she clearly believes that something untoward happened. The IG has referred a criminal referral to Department of Justice. So there's something there. We need to get to the bottom of this soon to make sure that this thing doesn't spill over and stop the agency from being able to do its work. At the same time, we need to make sure that the agency did not break any laws. You know, that would be a pretty horrific situation, and it would destroy that legislative CIA relationship. And here's the other troubling thing, to have the CIA deciding that they were going to openly confront the legislative oversight body, is that in and itself was troubling. I think that was a horrible decision. So we need to unwind this, get tensions down, and find out what the facts are so we can get this behind us and move forward.
Congressman, if there's even a whiff of truth to this, this is something someone, an ordinary citizen, would go to jail for a very long time for against another private citizen. If you did it to the government, you'd probably never see the light of day again. If there's any truth to this, and you have the head of the CIA say there's nothing to it, what kind of steps would you have to take just to ensure confidence in the process?
Well, again, I don't want to speculate. You know, it's pretty serious if they're going to level criminal charges. If they're found to be accurate and Department of Justice chooses to prosecute, then somebody will go to jail in that circumstance. You know, we probably shouldn't get there yet. That referral has been made. It's serious. Obviously, the charges are serious, or I don't think Senator Feinstein would have made them. And so again, we're going to have to unwind this, find out what the truth is. If someone broke the law, they're going to have to pay the penalty.
Now, obviously, I don't mean to push down the road of speculation, except on this one angle. There seems to be a disconnect about what this agency is doing, what we know about it, and we now seems to include government. Do you believe it's time for a change in terms of how this agency does business?
You know, there's plenty of oversight on it. This was a very unique circumstance. Remember, there are hundreds of engagements and oversight engagements, both from member visits and staff visits. We have investigators that investigate different ongoings of the agency itself. There's financial review, budget review, lots of that. And this was an isolated incident in a kind of a rare circumstance where the investigation was actually being done in a space that was provided by the CIA at the CIA. And so this is a little different than the normal standard you know, standoff oversight that has to happen and continues to happen. And I don't want it to taint the whole agency. There is a lot of great work happening around the world. People put themselves in really dangerous circumstances around the world. I don't want to take away from their work. We do, again, we need to find out what happened. You know, was this a very senior level decision to do something that violated the law? We're going to have to find those facts out. But that would have been one case that should be punished accordingly if that in fact is true. But we shouldn't taint the entire agency. The agency is well overseen, lots of oversight, and they're doing some really incredible work to protect the United States of America.
Fair point. We'll stay on it. Appreciate your perspective on that. Let me get a quick take from you before I let you go, Congressman. Let's go to Ukraine here. They're pushing for a vote to get the money through. Two concerns. One, are you worried about going too quickly here in terms of where that money is going to go with so much influx in Ukraine and U.S. tax dollars so precious? And your take on the climate of politics surrounding the situation right now at home. Do you believe it's time for the right to move closer to the White House and show a united front here?
Well, you know, again, it's important. I think the president has made some good steps. Seeing the Ukraine prime minister today, important message, I think, to send. You know, we had a little bit of deficit in the diplomacy leading up to this event. We had tarnished some of our European relationships. That needs to be repaired. They're doing some of that. I think the money was important because it sends a very clear message, and these are loan guarantees to the Ukraine. If they get into some financial trouble early, that instability will only benefit Putin's effort, I think, to take pieces of Ukraine. And that vote on Sunday is going to be very, very important. I think we know how that's going to come out, but that is going to change the tension level in this discussion about the Crimean Peninsula, Ukraine, and U.S. and European efforts.
Well, hopefully you're working with the White House right now because you do know which way that vote's going to go, so it shouldn't come as a surprise once we get the turnout from it. Representative Rogers, thank you very much. A lot on your plate.
Thanks.
Appreciate your perspective on New Day.
Thank you.